My father says if everybody lived like you, then the world would stop. And maybe he's right, and that would be fine. My name is Mats. I'm from Finland. I'm living in Beneficia for 10 years now, and this is my home. It's a little shed that I built for myself, and mostly built from garbage details, as you can see, it's free stuff. And well, it has all the facilities. There's a kitchen with stove and a little electric fridge down there. Doesn't work so good in the summer, but right now it's okay. And the gas heater, of course, a bit of musical equipment, computers, and here's my kitchen. Well, it's all in one room, but it's my kitchen area. And have a nice wood stove, made in Holland, actually. This is where I sleep. My bedroom, although it's part of the same room as everything else, but nice and warm. Here we're outside, and this is my little front porch, and has this beauty that it's covered in leaf. Well, it's coming on now, so in the summertime it's basically completely hidden from view, which is very nice. And a little bit of vegetables growing down here. A little bit of sweet corn and some salad tomatoes at the bottom. Yeah, and that's the beautiful view from my front porch. One of the best things about this place. Go out in the morning and be in the middle of mountains. Very nice. You're standing on the lawn, which is my prized possession. Well, in the Andalusian climate, it's really nice to have a nice green shady spot, and it's completely covered by trees in the summer, so you kind of have a nice cool-off place. Down there is a bunch of kiwi vines. They're planted last year, so they will be probably like 3-4 years at least before we get fruit on them. But there's really many fruit trees planted all around. I have over 20 varieties of different things growing and planting new every year. And here's a cherry. It was planted last year, for example, but has no flowers on it this year, but maybe next one. Here's a lemon tree, but it was taken by the frost quite badly. It was actually quite big, so I had to cut it down, but I think it's gonna regrow. It has like nice new shoots on it. Aloe vera and some potatoes. It's the first year I'm doing potatoes in a proper style, so see how that works out. Hopefully good. Strawberries. There I had an avocado tree, but the frost took it, and then a falling boulder just a few days ago actually chopped it off beyond the grafting point, so it's his turn now. And there's a bunch of tomatoes and peppers growing there, but they're too small to see. Later on there's gonna be watermelons and all kinds of goodies growing here. A bit too early still. This is kanya. It's called kanya. It's like a grass relative to bamboo, but it's like a bit weaker than the bamboo, but it grows very fast. It can be used for building stuff. Very good building material. It's a bit weak, but if you make kind of many bundles or walls, it's actually quite useful.
So how self-sufficient are you?
Well, it kind of goes with the season. I mean, you can't really eat the apples before they're ready, and the same with everything. So I grow as much as I can, but I mean, you still end up having to go to the store to buy things. It's just very difficult to be completely self-sustained without having huge fields and really much water at your disposal. And the water here is, I mean, we have water, but not really to make big fields. Better every year also. The ground here is very stony, so it's quite a bit of work to open it up and make all the gardens, and then you have to carry up the manure and stuff. But little by little, every year it becomes bigger and better and more fertile, so it's kind of a long-term project.
It looks really organic.
yes, this is, well, maybe. Yeah, so this is my internet antenna, and it's kind of a bit of how do you say, contradiction in terms or something to have the internet here in the middle of all this nature, but not for me. I mean, it's basically just information and flow of information, and I don't see how that's a bad thing. And I'm 100% solar powered. Like all my electricity comes from solar panels, and I'm running this little Wi-Fi spot here, so people of Beneficio can use internet if they need to. And
How is it called?
it's the Beneficio.
You built this house yourself. Was it easy to do that here?
I guess easy. I mean, it takes time. I mean, you have to find a spot first of all, which is maybe the most difficult thing of all, and, and then you start building. But I mean, the way that it is here, we cannot really build solid structures. Like, we're not allowed to use concrete, or ideally it should be kind of tent-like structures that can be easily removed. So the whole house is more or less a tent with a bit of old doors and stuff like this on the walls.
What's the best thing about it? Can you describe that?
I mean, the best thing is that it's like that it's just the earth. It's just nature, and of course there's a bunch of people, and I mean, society is not far away, but basically you wake up in a very primitive environment. You know, you hear the birds singing always, and the frogs and crickets, and there's no road going up here, so you don't really hear any motor sounds either. You have to walk up basically from the car park. The freedom from rent is actually like maybe one of the most important things, because I think rent is kind of one of the big evils of the world, yeah, because it forces everybody to go to work for nothing, just to like pay for a place, for a spot on the earth, and that's not right. And I think that's one of the things Beneficio did right, that it's kind of liberated the ground, and anyone can come here and live here. Okay, there's only so many spots, but that's kind of the idea, and that's what I like the most. It's freedom. Kind of open community, so much of the land is bought, like we bought it by collecting money basically and buying it communally. So where we're standing now, this is basically official Beneficio land, and no, there's no rent. We just kind of have to take care of the land, I guess, try to make it beautiful and like rich.
So how did you end up here?
Well, I left Finland, which is where I come from, in I think '98. A few years before I left Finland, I had this kind of mystical experience, then, if you want to call it so, and it just changed my outlook on life and like my direction and like how I felt and thought about all kinds of things. So it just didn't really feel like the right thing for me to do, to just go into some work and work for money, and it was what I was looking for, yeah, because everyone looks for different things, and I kind of just wanted a corner where I can just be left in peace and, you know, grow a little bit of vegetables and just live an easy life, and that's exactly it. I came here with nothing, really. Okay. I came here with €0 in my pocket. But life helps you out. It's kind of like this, like what you need. If you have a need, then the universe will act to resolve that need, and this is kind of the key. Well, that's where money comes in, yeah, because if you have money to pay, then you will never find out that the universe resolves your need, because you have money in your pocket, you have a need, here's the money that's resolves the need, and this kind of resolves the fear, but only temporarily, because the fear is still there. So yeah, I would say just I mean, people help each other out, and especially in a place like this.
But how much do you need, do you think, here? Money-wise?
You don't need a lot. That's the thing. You need extremely little. I mean, seriously, when it all comes down, you need nothing, because in the big lodge you can eat for free. So I mean, so you have a place to sleep, that's for free, and if you're starving, there is food and you can have it for free. I mean, it's not going to be a restaurant class, but it's going to be a bowl of rice and vegetables, and you can survive on it. So actually, you need nothing almost, like, to survive. But of course, it's not so comfortable to have to rely on somebody else all the time. But basically like this. So I mean, I would say if you have €5 a day here, you can live really good. It's really like this.
So what's with all the cats here?
Oh god. Well, they're just life, I guess, and I just like to have them around just because they're kind of a reminder of life on Earth. I mean, I never took any cats, they're just the cats of the neighborhood, and they just found their way to my house. And I mean, after you take the first one, and if there's a food bowl, then there's kind of, you have to actively chase them away in order to not collect more, which I do, but every once in a while you find one that's like sick or pregnant or something like this and really needs the food, so then I would in some cases take care of them, and that's why I ended up with like so many cats. And they don't seem to become any fewer either, but it's okay. I enjoy it.
So how many cats are there here?
Yeah, well, I'm right now feeding about 16, I think. Depends a little bit how you count. And of course there's like a never-ending number of them if you don't do something. So actually my very first cat, or it was not the first, but like the first one in this house, she gave birth a few times, and I actually did kill some kittens, but it was just like a very unpleasant experience. So I decided to just bite the bullet and just bring the females to the vet to get them sterilized, which is kind of a costly affair, but in the long run it really saves you so much trouble. I mean, it's the kittens, they just take you know, in a year you can have 10, and in a few years it's 20, 30, so unless you kill them or give them away, and I don't have the heart to give them away because in a way they have such a good place here, and unless I find like somebody who really wants them, I wouldn't go to the market and push them on people because I don't like that. So yeah, I have all the females sterilized. That's in the long run the only way that works here.
It's a noble thing.
It's really just practical. Just cannot have too many. But I guess, yeah. No, it's kind of you have to sleep in the bed you lie in. And I think this actually something that many people here don't kind of realize, that you have to kind of take responsibility, like for the things in your life. Like there's this attitude here. Well, kind of, I mean, if a street dog, if you feed a street dog and it starts to follow you around, then you cannot say anymore that it's not your dog, because then it is your dog, because you feed it and you follow it around. But the people here, they have kind of funny attitudes about this. And for me with the cats, I mean, once I take a cat in, it's kind of, I live here and I cannot really kick out a cat that I took in once, so yeah, just do what you have to. Takes a bit of meditation, I guess.
Could you name something you miss here? You got almost everything, I think. You got the internet, you got water, a place to cook.
I mean, lacks are in you, kind of. So it's kind of to complain that something is missing is like maybe not looking for the problem in the right place. But I mean, what I'm a little bit missing here is the continuity in the valley as a whole, because this is kind of a short-term place. Like tourists come here, or people come here for like a few days or a few weeks or a few months or even a year or two, but it's kind of, there is a rotation of the people here, which means that it's kind of well, if you make good friends for starters, then they usually don't stay here. They end up going and doing their thing somewhere else. And also the community is a little bit, well, there's not so much going on. I mean, I'm as much to blame as anyone, but I mean, I would kind of like to see the community being maybe a little bit more active, having a bit more stuff going on. But again, it's kind of something that you have to solve like by action yourself, and I'm not maybe the best guy to complain about that. So yeah, I would say it's like what's missing is missing in you, not like missing in the circumstances of this place or most places maybe.